Oh my god. We made it to part 20, y'all. Can you believe it? Because I can't. And by I can't, I mean I absolutely can, but also, like, I didn't think I would be... I wasn't sure how long I would be playing this for. Like, I figured I'd be playing it for the next 6 months since, you know, I purchased a subscription for 6 months. But also, at the same time, anytime I play any other video game for as long as I've played this one, I usually have it at least mostly done by now, and I'm only just about to enter the next expansion, or the first expansion. So there's a long way to go. So be prepared for at least another, like, 20 more episodes of Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah. Hello, hello. Welcome back. My name is Mr. Gowan. You can also call me Mr. G or Mr. or Teacher or Sir or Lord for short. And I do start off all my classes by offering students the opportunity to ask me up to 3 questions, provided they're school appropriate, except obviously there's no one here to ask me any questions, so it doesn't matter. In which case, I say, write your question down in the comment section if you so wish to. And if you don't wish to, far be it from me to tell you how to live your best life. So, do what you will. Anyway, we're back with more Final Fantasy XIV, and I am going to continue the story because I can. Mostly because I want to, but also because I can. Come on, Behemoth, let's climb this mountain. Where am I even going? Aside from, like, up this mountain. Oh, I see. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Not exactly the prince that people were looking for, I don't think, but, you know. Why do I have that on still? Turn that off. Ugh. Gross. The 3rd unit Brave. Hello. Let's see. Sprint, my boy. Oh, I see it. Okay, there's like a big destination where I'm gonna have to probably kill some level 50 enemies. Oh no. Yu Hase. Hello. Direct. Okay. Ruined. Absolutely destroyed. Ooh, that was cool. Oh, it's like a leap. I like it. Okay, cool. Anyway. Well, that was neat. Anyway. I don't know why I've never used Rough Divide. Probably because it's not available at level 50, so I don't have any dungeons where I can use it. Fly, my bird. My pretty, pretty purple bird, fly. Casual! Hey, what's up? How's it going? What you up to? How goes the streaming life? I am through with listening to your excuses. We leave now. How? The woods are crawling with those blue coats, and the knights are searching every wagon that passes through the gates. I don't know. Well, stay with him then if you think you'll fare any better. Now, there's no need for that. Stream goes bad? What do you mean stream goes bad? What do you mean? What's happening? Tell me more. Tell me everything. There are places like this in my homeland, sacred snow-capped peaks where blood must not be shed. Yet your land's ever thirst for the blood of the fallen, and by your deeds it has drunk deep. Oh. No, I have done no wrong. None but meet in secret with heretics. Deny it all you will. We shall have the truth from you yet. Inquisitors are not the only ones skilled in the art of interrogation. Oh. Damn it all! Wrecked. He just collapsed. Amazing. Can't get followed or for average viewers. You'll get there. It takes time. I know your ADHD brain is like, I need it now. I need it immediately. Trust me, I'm aware. I was there. But like, it will happen over time. I literally promise. Fancy meeting you here, Zayden. I presume your work with the third brought you hither. What a tangled web. Lest you wonder, we came here not for the heretics, but for the merchant who has been conspiring with them. Yes, it's been a month, I'm aware. And how many how many followers do you have in a month? 20? He came to our attention during the course of our investigation into the Ivy. It beggars belief, I know, but it seems our favorite Ghanaian spy may have been providing assistance to Iceheart. Were it not for the efforts of Lady Lugiri and her shinobi, we might never have discovered this connection. Master Alphinaud is too kind. I fear my people and I have done little to aid your search for this spy. Yeah, you have 29 in a month. That's amazing. What are you complaining about? You know what? Actually, I take it back. Obviously, like, some people, you know, I get it. I understand. Vaguely. But yes, 29. You were doing great. That's a lot of people in 1 month, to be honest, especially when you're brand new and no one knows who you are. Like, girl, by the end of the year, if you keep going, like, I swear you'll have, like, you'll have more followers than I will. Let's be real. We long to strike back against the Empire and weaken their influence in this land to prevent the tragedy which befell Doma from reoccurring. The days ahead and the work they promise will require a very particular set of skills which I am fortunate enough to possess. If you will allow it, I would accompany you until the investigation is complete. That is most generous offer, Lady Lugiri, and one which I gladly accept. Thank you. Though I may disappear for a time, know that I shall never be far, and shall always be watching. A comforting thought. Come, Zayden. Let us wait inside for Captain Ilbert to return and deliver his report. Oh yeah, I forgot you're a Pikachu on my stream. Look at that. You get to be Pikachu. And it actually looks really cute on here too. I actually like how Pikachu looks. Some of the Pokemon don't, like, come across very well, so. Whoa. Oh, here he comes. What up, sir? Captain Ilbert, your report, if you will. Aye, Commander. Firstly, with regard to the heretic we captured, I regret to say that the man could not tell us not that we did not already know of Shiva. We have since handed him over to the Ishgardian authorities. Henceforth, the Holy See will pursue the matter independently. Our inquiries concerning the Ivy, however, have proven more fruitful. We have ascertained the channel by which the heretics acquired their information on the shipment routes. Go on. You will recall the flame we first identified as being in the Ivy's employ. From him, we were able to trace a trail of conspirators, each taking us closer to his master. Alas, the trail came to an abrupt end. Fearing that the investigation had been compromised, we took the necessary steps of detaining all suspected of conspiracy. There were 5 on our list, including a flame stationed at Revenant's Toll. The man's primary duty was to keep an inventory of donations from abroad, the particulars of which he would share with benefactors, thereby ensuring that needs did not go unfilled. By virtue of his role, he was privy to the details of all shipments bound for the settlement. Needless to say, that included those originating from House Fulton. He knew the precise route the caravan would take, and he sold that information to a merchant. I think I can guess which one. None other. With a little encouragement, he soon confessed to knowingly aiding and abetting the heretics. Well, that is one mystery solved at least. But what of the Ivy? Are we any closer to prizing off his mask? I dare say we are, Commander. Our relentless pursuit has forced him to commit a grave error. In a desperate bid to cover his tracks, the Ivy resorted to exercising certain administrative powers available only to high-ranking members of the Immortal Flames. If you consider that then that our investigation is known to barely a handful of them, the field of suspects is greatly narrowed. You mean to say that the agent is among Raubon's innermost circle? Someone who has been with him since the Immortal Flames' establishment? 'Tis the most plausible explanation. The infiltration likely occurred during the company's founding, with the groundwork for the act being laid beforehand. To slip into a position of authority unremarked and remain above suspicion all these years. I too was surprised, though I really should not have been. Of the three grand companies, Uldaz was ever the more vulnerable to infiltration. Both Limsa Laminsa and Gridania had long-standing armed forces that lent themselves well to the formation of the Maelstrom and the Order of the Twin Adder. To all intents and purposes, it was the same people, loyal ones, mind, under the same leadership. Only the banner was different. Not so the Flames. Uldaz's military was made up of disparate orders, most of which were glorified mercenary companies that answered only to their own paymasters. Hardly an ideal environment in which to establish something as high-minded as a grand company. The difficulties Raubon faced when founding the Immortal Flames are well known. Even after he had convinced his fellow syndicate members to share the cost, there remained the small matter of finding enough bodies to fill the ranks. Indeed. And given the pressing nature of the Imperial threat, that meant recruiting every passing sellsword. Amidst the chaos of its founding, it would have been child's play to infiltrate the company. A good deal easier than now, yet aye. The Immortal Flames have ever been caught between conflicting interests, the public and the private. Though the monetarists ultimately agreed to support the organization's founding, 'twas not out of charity that they did so, but simply self-preservation. Had Niall Vandarnis's ambitions been any less apocalyptic, you may be sure that they would never have risked supplying Raubon with an army. 'Tis but a wonder they did not attempt to extinguish the flames the moment the danger had passed. Returning to the present. Even as we speak, our Dolmen allies are shadowing several high-ranking flames, any one of whom could be the Ivy. Desiring to deal a blow against the Empire, the refugees were eager to lend us their aid. I expect to hear from them ere long. Very good. Pray continue your investigation with the first. Meanwhile, have the second attend to the unrest. The third can join the fourth in inspecting crystal shipments. If they notice anything unusual, I want to know about it. If Shiva is summoned in like manner to the other primals, the heretics will be looking for further supplies. Understood, Commander. I shall send word to Sir Amric, informing him of our success in identifying the heretics' abettors. Hopefully, the information will be of some use to the Ishgardians. It is time, Commander. Yes, I am aware. An emergency council of the Alliance leadership has been called. There have been developments in Garlemald, it would seem. As commander of the Crystal Braves, my presence has been requested. I would have you accompany me, Xaden. As the realm's stoutest champion, 'tis only meet that you be present for the discussion. Oh, and the antecedent has already given her consent, lest you worry. Yeah, let me just give her a call. We'll find out if that's true. I'm just kidding. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Where are we going? Ooh, Gridania. I can do that for free. Rip. Ah. I just have like a feeling that the next one's gonna be a voice acted scene. Just a feeling. Let's find out.
Change has come to the Garlean Empire, and we must discuss the implications.
The rumors are true then? The War of Succession is ended?
It is. A new emperor reigns in Garlemald.
Oh.
Who?
Me? No, just kidding. Could you imagine? Plot twist. It's me. It's the main character.
The birth and all too rapid expansion of the Garlean Empire is commonly attributed to the strategic brilliance of Solus Zosgalvis. Yet he did not rule alone. Several members of the royal household also distinguished themselves during his reign.
Interesting.
Nevertheless, it was the eldest son who stood to inherit the throne, until his most untimely passing.
Rip.
I thought us fortunate when I learned that the Emperor had died without naming a successor.
Look at this man. Oh, I'm just kidding. He's not that good looking, but he is very cool looking. Like, look at that outfit. This man knows how to stylize, you know? Oh, okay. Well, that was... Never mind. I take it back. Everything I just said, wrong. Incorrect.
Died with him.
Nasty human being. Those shoulders, though. Damn. Like, could you imagine?
'Twas the grandson and his uncle who had the strongest claims, was it not?
How would I know? Ooh, new helmet who does? No, new
Indeed.
crown who does?
Yet
Okay.
claims count for little without the power to assert them. High Legatus Varus Ye Galvus is a respected military leader. Not so his uncle.
We have a literal Game of Thrones.
So young Varus has torn the crown from his uncle's grasp and taken his place at the head of the Empire.
Interesting. We're getting into some Shakespearean nonsense, I see.
Given the troubled nature of his succession, the new emperor will require time to seal his grip on power. Yet have no doubt but that he shall, for there are none left with strength enough to oppose him.
Since the success of Operation Archon, the remnants of the 14th Legion and the forces occupying Alamigo have done naught but fortify their positions. But you can be sure they'll be ready to march on us again, if their Emperor gives the word.
Okay.
When,
And?
not if. They say this Varus was so set upon Eorzean annexation that he spoke out against the Meteor Project.
Plainly, the new emperor's intentions are of great concern to us all.
Okay. And?
I propose that we set aside the Cartano dispute for the present, and discuss what measures the Alliance might take to prepare for a resumption of hostilities with Garlemald. Moreover,
Okay.
I move that we re-examine the question of how our former allies in Ishgard might be persuaded to retake their place at our side. Could Eorzea but stand as one, 'twould deal a grave blow to our enemies' ambitions.
Well, they seem to be in agreement, apparently. Even Alphinaud. Wow, that's shocking.
Well, I suppose we should be grateful that they have finally acknowledged the inevitability of Imperial attack. Who knows? They may even do something about it. If only the leaders of Ishgard would follow their example and stop hiding behind their gates, praying for the coming storm to pass them by. But that is a discussion for another time. At present, I am more concerned by the fact that the Alliance's mooted preparations will be made known to the Garleans many moons before their coming. So long as the Ivy eludes our grasp, no secret is safe.
I mean, I am curious who the Ivy is, but I just somehow have a feeling that either I don't know who it is, or it's going to be a huge plot twist and it's going to be Raban himself. Granted, I've already said it, so it's probably not going to be Raban now, so, you know, it's probably some other random person that I've never met before. But wouldn't it just be so spicy if it was someone that we've met? Speak with Ilbert and Nugrid on you? I can do that. Oop, wrong way. Ilbad. What up, homie? How's life? Just living your best, I see. Dancer, Dragoon, Reaper, Pugilist, Rogue, Monk, Ninja, Samurai. I don't really want any of those. Yeah, we're just gonna take the money. Oof. Oh my god, what? Okay, we're good. Oh. Listen well. The spy we have been seeking all this time is none other than Flame Marshal Ellen Royal, Raubon's second in command. So it is someone I've never heard of. Wow. Look at me. Getting it correct. When did she become part of the story? Who is this? Prior to joining the Immortal Flame, she was a mercenary of no small renown. They say her skill with a polearm had to be seen to be believed. Of Ishgardian birth, she is the highest ranking foreigner in the Immortal Flames, barring the Flame General himself, of course. When he informed the Grand Company, Raubon chose people based on... Or when he formed the Grand Company, Raubon chose people based on their worth. Whence they hailed was of no interest. The Monitorists saw things differently, however. Having funded the enterprise, they reserved the right to reject candidates nominated for high-ranking positions. And 'twas no secret that they did not favor foreigners, Ishgardians especially, after the way the Holy Seat forsook the alliance. Yet the Monitorists did not raise so much as a murmur of protest when Ruail was appointed to her post. Passing strange, is it not? Could it be that the Ivy has some hold over the Monitorists? Is possible. Sorry, my eyes are like really acting up right now. Like, ow. They're like leaking. But like not crying, like just leaking. Ugh, I don't know why they hurt. Anyway, but these revelations are secondary to our current mission. Of foremost interest to us is Roal's presence here now. As you may be aware, it is the duty of the Flame Marshal to command the immortal flames in the absence of the Flame General. While Ralban attended the Council of Alliance Leaders, she should have remained in the Hall of Flames. The woman has no business being in Gridonia, yet here she is nonetheless, on some pretense. She's up to something, mark my words. Even as we speak, I have a dozen men trolling the Flames' records for evidence of Rua's guilt. But if we can catch her red-handed, we shall have all the proof we need. Which brings me to the plan. I have people watching the city gates, the airship landing, and the docks, every point of egress. She cannot leave without our knowledge. All that remains is to shadow her until she betrays her true purpose. Can I rely upon your eyes, Scion? I'll think about it. I'll get back to you in 5 to 10 business days, give or take. You have my thanks. Let us go then, and take care not to alert our quarry. I mean, given the type of game that this is, I have a feeling we're not gonna be able to cause any issues. I guess we'll see. Ilbed, tell me more. Where are we going? To the airship landing. F for me. Wonder why they chose blue for these guys. Like, I'm sure not mad about it because I think it looks great, but like, I just wonder why. You know? Oh, more speaking, more lines for me to deliver in a horrible fashion. Nowhere to be seen, you say, and you are sure she did not board an airship? She did not come back out either. Where in the seven hells could she have gone? The Roost! How could I forget? What about the Roost? What is the Roost? Greetings, good sir. Might I interest you in some Muntai tonic? A cup a day imbues a man with great vigor, if you take my meaning. Ew. Perhaps another time, friend. Wait, that necklace. You are Shinobi of Doma. The woman you seek has left Gridonia by way of Westshire Pier. She was attired as a merchant, but these eyes are not so easily deceived. You may wish to take your search to the East Shroud. Rest assured that we shall continue to support you from the shadows. Thank the 12 for the Domans. Were it not for their unique talents, Rual would have disappeared without a trace. Yay. Whatever. Speak with Elbert at Sweet Bloom Pier. Where's that? Oh, it's like way over there. I'll say sure. Let's go, Behemoth. We have people to be and places to see. Hello, Ilbird. Meet my behemoth. His name is Becky. I'm just kidding. That would be funny, though. Kind of. Anyway. This way, my friends. Oh, this way, my friends. Wrong person. My bad. Your query makes for the Hawthorne Hut. If Royale is truly the one we seek, we can expect that she means to make contact with her Garlean masters there. An explanation is in order. You are no doubt aware that the Garleans have their own method of communicating over great distances. Well, our ingenious friends at Garland Ironworks have provided us with devices which disrupt these communications, and we have installed them around the city-states. In so doing, we have made it difficult for Imperial agents to correspond with their masters. Royale would thus have no choice but to rendezvous with her Imperial contact directly. Yet, as a well-known face in the Immortal Flames, she cannot move about Thanalan without being recognized. It would only be a matter of time before someone saw through her disguise. 'Tis for this reason, I believe, that she has chosen the Black Shroud for her clandestine meeting. The Elizin are a common sight here, and her comings and goings are not like to turn any heads. As my scout tells it, the Garleans have sent agents with a mind to destroy the devices and render such direct contact unnecessary. Fortunately, our shinobi have thus far been successful in rebuffing their efforts. This is it. We need only make for Hawthorne's hut and catch Royale in the act. Whoa. Alright, let's go. Fly, my bird, fly. What up, you Gary? You Gary? Oh, we have the behemoth out again. Welcome back, Becky. Just beyond, Royale is in conversation with an individual clad in the manner of an adventurer, an Imperial intermediary, no doubt. This is it, with me. Yeah, I'll think about it. Wait, she's not even, like, dressed differently. She literally looks the same. Flame Marshal Ellen Royale, you are under arrest for treason and espionage. You were followed, you bloody fool! He's like, gotta go. Damnation! Ooh, we got some ninjas. Hi. She's like, whatever, I got this. You are unarmed, my lady, and scarcely garbed for battle, but if you wish to fight, you are welcome to try. What is the meaning of this, Captain? Would you arrest me for strolling in the Twelveswood? When last I looked, that was no crime, and neither was conversing with passing strangers. You would feign ignorance, then? Very well. If you do think of something to say, there will be plenty of time to say it later. Now, come quietly, or I shall make you wish you had. I will offer you no struggle. After all, I have naught to hide. I mean, it's the lies for me, but like, all right. What's up, you Gary? How can I help you? Speak with them, Philia. About Nordown. $263. Jeez. Ooh. Oh, okay, bye. Jeez. Wait for the carriage at Sight Revenant's Toll. I can do that. If I can figure out how to leave the Solar. That's what we're doing. Oh my gosh. Hello everyone, welcome to my ASMR video. I don't know why I've chosen this moment to do this because it's totally ridiculous, but here we are. Not ASMR, ASMR is not ridiculous. Me doing this is ridiculous. Oh, new person? Who does? Oh, it's her friend. Right. Oh, she's cool. Look at that hair.
Minfilia, am I right?
Oh, it's not her friend. Some person. Okay.
None other. I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and to thank you for traveling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Oh, is there a thing going on there?
Moonbreeder is an accomplished Arlean scholar and an authority on aetherite technologies. She has
Moonbreeder.
played an invaluable role in our search for a means to capture Arcean souls.
I see.
Charmed, I'm sure.
You would be incorrect. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, she's pretty cool. I like her so far. We'll see how long that lasts. Charmed. Charmed, I'm sure. Charmed, I'm sure. They all just have like such like standard British accents. Like, can someone have like something like really like clearly different so that I can do something a little bit different? I mean, I guess I could just choose to do it differently anyway, but everyone's just got like a standard British accent.
Moon! Gods, it's been ages!
Bad.
Oh, longer, sister.
What? They're siblings.
A joyous reunion indeed.
Maybe not siblings? I don't know. Maybe they are siblings.
Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
Wow, I love that she's like clearly laughing, but there is no sound.
Everyone, if I could have your attention. We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Sharlayan to assist us. I bid Moonbreeder join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of Aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research into white auracite, a sample of which she has been good enough to bring with her.
Interesting.
Well, I had to come, didn't I? You'd have to be bloody daft to turn your nose up at a chance like this. Where better to conduct my final tests than a land so steeped in ether you can taste it?
'Tis plain the passage of the years hath done little to dampen thy youthful spirits,
Naturally.
and nothing at all to reform thy youthful manner.
Oriange, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Here? Well, not here, I guess.
Unhand me.
Oh my god.
I come all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can
Okay, that's
satisfy
fine.
this need.
I'm glad you made it home.
Go on.
Go on.
Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my compeers thine aid.
Why does he talk like that?
You still haven't found it then? You're missing Aetherite.
Nope.
We have not. No.
What Aetherite?
We know that Iceheart teleported to an Aetherite not
Oh,
far
that
from
one.
the
Right, right,
first.
right.
Yet even after careful analysis, we could not locate the second beacon. We now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second Aetherite to impede our pursuit. Our allies continue to scour Snowcloak for Iceheart's sanctuary, but we have no guarantee that they will find it. Yet it must be found, for even now Iceheart prepares to call upon Saint Shiva.
Saint Shiva. Oh.
I'm sorry, but if the Aetherite's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first Aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the Aetherite.
Okay.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon.
Huh?
As you know, Aetherites are a bit like lighthouses. We use them to reconstitute our physical forms when crossing the ethereal sea. Without them, we'd lose all sense of direction and our essence would dissipate. However, we don't
Interesting.
rely
So
solely
that's how
on these
teleportation
beacons.
works in
There
this.
are currents of ether which flow between them, currents which help guide us to our destination. Now, these currents will gradually dwindle away to nothing if an Aetherite is destroyed. But If even a sluggish flow remains, we could theoretically use it to direct a surge of concentrated ether towards the void left by the beacon, and thereby fill it up again.
Like opening the floodgates to fill a dry riverbed. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, but would we not need a veritable reservoir of ether?
In concert, we might manage to channel a sufficient volume, yet that is not my chief concern. To direct the flow of so great a volume of ether with the requisite precision would be a nigh impossible task in itself.
Yeah, go make your mom dinner casual. Have fun. Make her something good. / make yourself something good. I'll see you when you get back.
I barely succeeded in facilitating travel to an unattuned beacon. That which you describe sounds considerably more difficult.
And dangerous. Every person who has attempted to teleport in this fashion has died in the process. They, however, did not have white aura sight at their disposal.
Interesting.
I can use it to channel all the ether you can give me into the etherite. However, white aura sight cannot retain ether for an extended period of time, so we would need to infuse it immediately beforehand. Just so you know, I'd confidently give this plan better than even odds of success. And if the worst comes to worst, your people won't suffer.
Okay.
Though it risk the lives of our best and brightest, we have not the time to seek other options. If the ethereal current still flows, we shall carry out Moonbreeder's plan.
That's the spirit. Let's roll the dice.
Sure sounds risky, especially if no one's ever survived a trip like this. You'd best believe my character is probably going to be the first one to do it, too. They're going to be the first one in. They're going to be like, yeah, I'll give it a try. Interesting plan, interesting plan. Alright, Curthus. BRB, I'm going to get some water while this is loading, even though it'll take seconds. I've returned. Avec water. Actually, what is water in French? You know what? I'm not going to question it. I don't remember, so... I know, like, Spanish is like agua or something. Okay. Apparently I'm just like desperately tired, which I guess kind of makes sense. I didn't actually get that much sleep last night because I did go to bed kind of late and I had to wake up early because I was working today. Probably should have had a nap, but here we are, doing this instead. Come on, Kevin the Chocobo. Go faster. Oh, we get to talk to Alfie now. Okay, sure. Oh, new video. Who dis? Please tell me it's voice acted. I have a feeling it is. Ah, it's not voice acted. Damn it. There, it's ready. Ha! It worked. I think. Try attuning to the Aetheryte now. Feel for the current and try to locate the beacon. We have done all we can, Zayden. For now, let us withdraw. When your final preparations are complete, you must seek out the beacon we have created. If, by the grace of the 12, you arrive safely, you must stop Iceheart before she summons Shiva. I guarantee she'll summon it. We're gonna have to fight Shiva. Guaranteed. Because why would it bring up Shiva if we weren't gonna actually, like, have some sort of contact with her? I'm ready. Let's do this. Afa Amphitheater, hard, now accessible? Okay. Cool, 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 cool. I guess I'll just set up a duty finder for that. Not there. Is it in here? Oh, it is. Ooh, we do get to fight Shiva. Hell yeah. Let's do this. You raise me up. I'm just kidding. Oh my god. But I am curious how high I can fly. I'm curious how fly I can high. Oh, I can't only go that high. Oh, wow. That's very high. You can't even see anything. Everything's just blurry. I wonder how low I can fly. White brain. Alright then. Boring. It would have been cool if we could just like fly off the map. But I guess fair enough. There should be limits. Okay. I guess like while I'm waiting I can go do this. So let's do that. Okay. Let us continue this nonsense. Hello. Pardon my chocobo. Wait, are they in here? Am I confused? Am I blind? Don't answer that. Ah! Hello, Briardian. Briardian? Briardian? Briardine? Oh look, we have to go back to Kurthas after all. How lovely. We want to go this way. Ooh, that's really close. Okay. Hello, I come bearing gifts of this Reaper destroying your house. Oh. It's not even inside, it's outside. Also, I am fully deliberately skipping the cutscenes for this quest because I did this quest with my Freya Knight character, and it is the stupidest quest on the planet. It is so ridiculous. I am gobsmacked and blessed by people who love this stuff, but I am not them. Like, the whole Hildebrand subquest thingy is just so memeable, I guess, but just not for me. It's just like a little over the top. What? I can hear a cat meowing. Hello? Hello? What's happening? Hello? I don't know what my cat's doing. I heard my cat meowing though. Mr. Kevin, you're back. Hello. Excuse me. Oh look, now Battle on the Big Bridge is accessible. Fantastic. Wow. Now I really have nothing to do. Okay. So much for my average wait time being less than 5 minutes. I'm now sitting at 6 minutes. Alright. We're gonna pull up. I don't know. Should I do my carpenter or my weaver? Maybe I should do these. Oh, just kidding. It's ready. Haha. Look at that. The moment I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go do something else then. It was like, just kidding. It was like, fine. I guess we'll give it to you. All right. Bring on the cutscene. Hello, Ice
You
Hawk.
should never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down.
I mean, good luck.
We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more.
Okay, like, don't get me wrong. I, like, expected her to become Shiva.
Within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
But at the same time, it's a little sketch, you know? It's just like a little bit sketch. But Shiva was like, I bet. I'm on my way. I mean, she sure looks cool. Look at that hair. It's like a crystal crown. Or like an ice crown, I guess. Very cool. Oh, look at both of the gun breakers just being like, yeah, we got this, let's go. Well, that wasn't very nice, man. Granted, your whole purpose is to try and kill us, so, like, I guess it's fine. Well, I assume it's Chloe's. Oh wow, for once I like literally wasn't even paying attention to my health like at all. Hello man, can I help you? Are we about to get diamond dusted? Ooh, deep freeze. Ooh. Talk about cool. I like her. She's neat. That was so like elegant, but also just like so like epic. R.I.P. Shiva. Well, truly, she was indeed very cool. You mean to tell me I didn't level up from that? Alright. I'll try.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool. You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. That no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause.
Is it? Are you sure? Have you considered any other possibilities?
You fight in a war you do not understand. A pawn of liars and schemers.
Alright, I mean, she's kind of got me there, but like...
And they are no less ignorant than you. Following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why.
Have you considered that maybe they did?
Trapped in a delusion of their own creation, and blind to the truth. Warrior of light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after. Seek the keeper of the lake. See with eyes unclouded.
The keeper of the lake.
Do not squander Mother's gift.
Mother is in Heidelin?
Hear. Feel. Think.
I love it. That's really cool. Interesting. I mean, we were, like, Minfilia was just previously talking about how, like, Heidelin has not spoken to either of us, so interesting that she's apparently speaking to her. Let's go speak to the Lady of the Lake. Oh, hi, sir. Can I help you?
And so the vessel withdraws. A predictable outcome.
And so the vessel withdraws. A predictable outcome. Very nasally of this man, my goodness. But look at those mutton chops. Wow.
Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
Bet. Oops, wrong thing. White brim front. Actually, where is that? Oh yeah, it's literally that one. Okay. All right. Up we go. Hear, feel, think. No, it's hear, think, feel, isn't it? I screwed it up. Oh well, too late now. Alright, Alfie, where you at? Ugh, you would be out here with Drillmont. Boring. There he is, and none the worse for wear. Was there ever any doubt that the Warrior of Light would succeed? I think I speak for us all when I say that I think that I should like nothing more than to hear the stirring tale of your victory, if you would be so kind. Then we were too late to prevent the summoning. But not too late to prevent further loss of life, an outcome worthy of celebration, and one for which we have Xaden to thank. Yes, you are right, of course, Sir Amric. We should be content with what we have accomplished. I, for one, could not have wished for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat, and heretics have been rooted. Aye, there is the matter of Iceheart's escape, but she cannot run forever. Whether it takes days, weeks, moons, or even years, my knights will find her. In the meantime, Lord Drillmore, is the caravan ready? The supplies that your men recovered have been prepared for transport in accordance with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely to Revenant's Toll. Of that I have no doubt. I take it these are the self-same supplies the heretics stole from the House of Fortomp caravan. Less the crystals which comprise the bulk of the shipment, yes. Scarcely a fraction of that which was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. Oh, and on an unrelated note, Xaden, might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your earliest convenience? 'Tis not for my benefit, A certain lord was most distressed when he learned of your intent to risk life and limb to stop Iceheart. It took half a dozen knights to restrain him, I am told. Men give vent to their anxieties in myriad ways. Pray do not think less of him. I'm just gonna teleport there because I'm lazy. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Let's go talk to Dude, because apparently he was just super worried about my well-being. What were you thinking, Xaden? Wagering your very being on a dubious theory which might allow you to enter Iceheart's lair, knowing full well that she could have sufficient forewarning to complete her ritual to summon Shiva anyway? And then, engaging the abomination in mortal combat? By the fury, Xaden, 'tis the stuff of ballads, a battle for the ages. Would that I had been there to fight by your side. Yet here I was forced to wait, condemned to wonder at the fate of a dear friend for a veritable eternity. I would not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. But here you are now, and that is what truly matters. Let us move on. Sir Amric wished to have words with you and Master Alfino in private. He awaits us in the intercessory. I still can't say that word. I have no idea what that word even means. Intercessory. I'm assuming it's a type of room. What up? Voice action? Yes, voice acting, maybe?
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Thanks.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Natalan.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment.
Okay.
Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We too have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Emmerich, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgard's-Oma could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Are you
Choose
shocked?
your next words carefully.
All right, Courtney.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am now. Why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learned to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Courtney. Where did she get a name now?
Lucia, at your service.
Okay, Lucia. I was close, okay? It was a good guess.
Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences. Those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you.
Okay.
Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind.
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
In this economy? Who can afford to have faith these days? Eyes unclouded. All right, Minfilia, what you got to say now? Do you have more news for me? What else are we fighting now? Is this the end of 2.4? Question mark?
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Kurthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it.
I'll think about it. I'll get back to you.
Excellent. I shall summon the others at once.
This better be voice acted. I do not want to voice act like 10 people right now. And by 10, I mean 6, 7 people.
Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Oh, she sure did.
Master Louisoir's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogulmog the 12th was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
Ooh, yeah, that's kind of a problem, isn't it?
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not. But full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Oh.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Interesting.
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
About Iceheart's final words to you. Hear, feel, think. Hydaelyn speaks to her as well. If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals.
That's what it sounds
Could
like.
it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard-Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded. It would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so.
Okay, but who or what is the Keeper of the Lake?
Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard-Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
So I assume that's not the end of 2.4. God damn it. Fine. Continuing on. Hello? Camp Blue Fog. Okay. Why are we going up here? Oh, there's a dungeon up here somewhere. Oh wait, no, we've already done that. Never mind. That was like the dungeon, the like final dungeon for. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Ignore me. Hello, Ilbed. Apparently we have a fight to do. How exciting. This wretch was with Roal. He threw himself at us that his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty even to her own, the goddamned harpy. Puh. With me, Scion, we almost have her. Did she escape? Yes, she did. Bet. Alright. Let's do this. Get wrecked. Bet. Let's go. I better get me. I'm gonna be real mad if I don't. Ooh, there's more. Oh. Come and kill it, my friends. Come hither, my homies, and lend me your ear. We're going for like mutually assured destruction. What's happening? Oh, sweet. Excellent. Okay. Bind her and do it tight. Yes, sir. Good work, men. Yeah, about that. Where are all the female soldiers? Like, why are they all men? She and her imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Behold, a respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of Lo? You, a spoiled little lordling who has never known any want. People such as you take wealth and birth for granted, and you think it your God's-given right to rule over others? You know not of our plight, the injustice that we low-bornish guardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not people but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to survive, stealing, killing, even hoeing herself. Damn, okay, good for her. You know what? Get yours. It is no fault of mine if fools imagined me a paragon when I joined the flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you were the only person ever to have suffered. In case you have forgotten, Relbond himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth, with little more than the shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion. Yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand that we had been dealt and played it to the best of our ability. Okay, listen, okay. I'm just gonna... we're gonna put a pause in that. I'm just gonna put a little pin in that for a second there. And we're just gonna talk about the fact... Okay, I'm just gonna take a break for a second. We're gonna talk about the fact that some people's plates are a little smaller than ours, you know? Like, some people can handle more stuff, and some people can't. And that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It is also entirely possible that you had some sort of privilege in other areas that this person did not have, and therefore their experience could have been, in their case, possibly worse than yours. You never know. How would you know? How could you know? I just want to, like, you know, like, I understand where he's coming from, but also he's being a little, anyway. Life was a battle, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. Really? Is that true? How are we any different then? 'Tis true that we were both mercenaries of lowly birth, and 'tis true that we both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my sword, you, Marshal, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, it is that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. Interesting. But enough talk. You will return to Uldar to face justice and the people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. Okay, anyway, just to reiterate everything I just said, basically, you cannot compare trauma to trauma, okay? It doesn't work like that. It's not like this person's trauma is greater or worse than this person's trauma, or vice versa. It's not how trauma works. End scene.
I've heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Roban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace.
Interesting. I mean, she already doesn't like you. I don't know why she would allow that.
Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Oh, he wants to, like, take over. Also, the Blades. Who are the Blades? Aren't we the Blades? Does that mean they've infiltrated us already? The Crystal Blades? Isn't that who we are or something? What does it all mean?
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alfino. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent.
Why
I know
you?
not what to say.
What? Why you? Where do you get why you out of Roaille? You know what? It's not my place to question it. If that's how it's pronounced, that's how it's pronounced.
Together with Robon, Eileen lent us much needed aid at the time of our order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled. My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with white auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Ascian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
Okay.
In addition to auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
Okay.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy.
Uh-huh.
Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void.
Interesting.
The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
Okay.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, what if we had two pieces of white auracite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
It would seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the auracite. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Oh. She's thirsty.
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands.
Why?
Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
She's so thirsty.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Sharlayan motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident of the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Well, that's interesting.
Aye. Yet the mystery endeth not with the isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
All indications suggest Ascian involvement, but I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the One True God.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
Well. Ooh, what's this?
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald. But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the media project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Varus Zos Galvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
Interesting.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
7 hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
She was
Triple,
something.
if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me.
Is that right?
By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant
Hashtag
task,
Taco
I grant
Taco.
you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
Okay.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
Bet.
All these years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve.
Oop.
I know you can hear me, monetarist scum. Your crimes will not go unpunished.
Do you think they can hear you? That okay. I mean, I guess it's possible.
Sickness before the eyes of the 12, I swear it.
What? Good for you. Go for it. Like, live that socialist dream, my friend.
I shall have no further need of you this day. Your Grace. I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Ever since he proposed the Cardinal Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the Syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the Syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, All who reside in Uldar have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly.
I mean, you're gonna make
Lord
enemies
Lolorito
regardless.
here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped.
See, she's got it. She understands.
But as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Uldar whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the Immortal Flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Uldar's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
Eorzea can ill afford for the Immortal Flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Uldar.
You're asking the wrong person.
The true wealth of Uldar lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few. The monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people.
Okay. So we're going down the democracy route.
For Uldar to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
But the royal family.
Nay, you jest.
Honestly, good for her.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Rauban to preserve order and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Uldar.
Interesting. This suddenly took a very
Your
spicy
Grace,
turn. I'm here
are
for
you
it.
certain of this?
There is no other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be. Uldar will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people. Rauban, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.
That was the end of 2.4. We finished 2.4. We did it. Yay. Which means all that's left is 2.5, and then we finally, finalement, get to Heaven's Word. I am most eager to address the Asian threat. However, we dare not neglect our other pressing concerns. We both know full well that Saint Shiva will not be the last primal we face, and our relationship with Ishgard is still tenuous at best. To think that the resolution of the primal threat was once the sole priority of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Some days I wonder if it was wise for us to take on so many other responsibilities. Lest you forget, Antecedent, the Scions need not shoulder the burden alone. Were not the Crystal Braves established for this very reason? Oh no, we're not the Blades, okay. Okay, whew. I was like, did we already get infiltrated? But we did not. Good, good, good. True, we are presented with a multitude of problems. However, we have all the resources we need to address them in turn. Zayden, in particular, is ever a steadying hand, who I trust will continue to support the Braves. To who do we owe the pleasure? Have there been further developments regarding the situation in Uldar? As expected, the Immortal Flames have been struggling to cope with the revelation that one of their highest-ranking officers was a Garlean agent. Suffice it to say, Teleji Alegi and his monetarist ilk have wasted no time in attempting to turn the situation to their advantage. Coupled with ongoing unrest, the Flames are finding themselves hard-pressed. Plainly, General Raubon needs our help, and I will direct the Crystal Braves to offer what support they can. If I am to stay abreast of the latest developments and issue effective orders, however, I cannot afford to waste time traveling back and forth. And so, for the foreseeable future, I think it would be for the best if I were to remain in Uldar, unless you have an objection. None whatsoever. We have matters here well in hand. Mumbrida's research is proceeding as planned? So she tells me, though I am not familiar with the details. Urianger is poring over his tomes at the Waking Sands, and the others are contributing in their own ways. Alas, the key problem, how to form an ethereal blade at will, remains unsolved. Nevertheless, it is only a matter of time. Zayden, while we focus on that task, mayhap you could assist Alfino and his Braves with theirs? It would do much to restore faith in the immortal flames if the Warrior of Light was seen working on their behalf. Never forget that your esteemed status allows you to act in ways that those more tightly bound to organizations and nations cannot. As ever, I implore you to do so. Not that your response was ever in doubt, but I humbly thank you once more for aiding our cause. Now then, there are preparations I must attend to before my departure, such as receiving Riel's latest report. He has proven to be quite skilled at gathering information others wish kept secret, hence why I placed him under my direct command and ordered him to investigate the Ul'Dan riots. When you are finished here, join me outside. Depending on what he has to say, I may soon have a favor to ask. If there are any developments on our front, I shall inform you at once in the usual fashion. Cool. Cool. Alrighty. I think I'm gonna have to leave it there for right now. It's been about 2 hours. And, yeah. It's been a very solid 2 hours, you know? I still haven't leveled up, though. I'm still level 61. Like, good lord. How much experience do you need, sir? My god. Get it together, Zayden. Just kidding. Anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for now. So, as per usual, all of the thanks needs to be given to Mr. Kevin, as always, for showing up and giving a solid wave, and then to Casual for showing up and saying hello and revealing that she has 29 followers. Honestly, good for you, girl. You deserve it. You deserve more. You will absolutely get them. If you are not currently following Casually, you absolutely should go follow Casually. It's Casual with a K. If you look up Casual with a K, you can probably find it. And then Lee is Leigh. Casual Lee. You should go follow her. She's pretty great. I think you'll really like her. Because I know I really like her. We've been friends for a while now, and she's, I've had nothing but positive things to say, so, you know? But definitely big thanks to those two. And then for anyone who also was watching, who never said anything, thank you for watching. For anyone who's watching on YouTube and made it to the 2-hour mark, 200 awesome points to you. Yeah, and I guess if you're watching in retrospect, like after the fact, then also thank you, you know? Congratulations to whatever year it is on YouTube that you're watching this. That's all I really have to say. That's all I have to do, and I will see you another time. Goodbye for now.